Hi, so I wanted to take a few minutes to talk about something, and it's kind of a continuation on what I talked about earlier about these teachers, these female teachers, thinking their junior high students should be their boyfriends. Well, I don't understand that, but whatever. And I talked about fracturing narratives and vows. I talked about that stuff. I also want to talk about this part, and I haven't talked about this part yet. Now, this is going to sound, I'm just going to give this as an example. I'm at a baseball game. The young men are 18, 19 years old. And I'm sitting there with some people, and some people go, "Oh, aren't they cute?" I said, "They're too young from afar. They're too young for me from afar. I'm not even going to entertain the thought that they're cute. I'm just not. I don't want to go there. I'm not going to go there. I'm not even going to think about it. I don't even want to know. I'm just not." There's a reason why. Because when you open that door to entertain things, you start to think about it. And then when you think about it, it becomes more real. Then you got to do something about it. The Tao. Watch your thoughts. They become your words. Watch your words. They become your actions. Watch your actions. They become your habits. Watch your habits. They become your destiny. You see, we don't talk enough about what we think becomes our reality. And if we open the doors to things like this, then what do you think happens? A lot of these women have husbands that have stood by them. And if you watch their husbands are probably the kind of men that their wives bulldoze them. And I don't know for sure, but that's the way it looks. And so they were looking for something outside of their relationship instead of changing themselves, instead of looking at themselves. And so they began to fantasize. And if you also think you're 12 or 13, hello. So all these things go together. But this video, I just want to make my point clear. Do not open that door. Do not go down that path, because that path will lead to things like this. It just does. So it's knowing how to shut those doors so that they don't happen. It's just knowing how to shut those doors. So on that note, now that I've just kind of talked about this, I wanted to talk about this because I think it was super important to talk about this and really explain about opening the doors. And I'm sure there's other ones out there that talk about this too. I just want to, before I end, I think we need to talk about this a lot more than we are. A lot of times we're so horrified by the horrific choices these people make and go, how can you at 30 years old do that to someone half your age and that's underage? It's sickening. It's gross. Ugh. And I'm not saying it's not. But I think we also need to go underneath the surface. And what I mean by that is if you go to pull weeds, and what happens is if you pull weeds out of the ground, and if you just only do the surface of the weeds and you don't go to the roots, that weed's going to grow back. So what I'm telling you is, let's not just do the surface. Let's go underneath and pull all the roots out. Or let's take care of our yard and our garden to the point where we don't have weeds. And that's when we don't open the door to these things. So on that note, now I'm going to end. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.